a House Civis broadcasting.
Hello, my name is Alufi de Sylas.
And I'm Sylas de Sylas.
And today is the 13th of Lharvion. A beautiful fall outside, very toasty warm, which is kind of nice. And we've got an interesting Silvertide Eve show for you today.
I wasn't sure whether or not we should do Silvertide. I feel like we do a lot of Silver Flame holidays, but it's good for people to learn about them, I think. So, because they all seem the same.
It's true. And the Silver Flame is a bit of a minority here in Sharn. You don't get a lot of Flamists here.
No, but when I look at their holidays, it looks like they went, oh, okay, there's a holiday this month for someone else. Well, just say there's a holiday for us and we'll all go pray. Which is weird because they seem to just do that consistently over and over again.
Well, Church of the Silver Flame, you could argue, is just an offshoot from the Sovereign Host, with Tiramirin being a paladin of...
That is fair. That is a fair argument. But let's not start down that road today. We've got a lot to cover, and hopefully everyone will be excited. We do have Bishop Sarhain here today.
We also have some Luffy's Advice Corner questions and just a little bit of news for everybody.
So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's broadcasting of A Chronicle of Echoes. Before we jump into the news or Luffy's asks, let's just get something out of the way very quickly. We do have our new merch up with House Cannith. Lots of t-shirts, lots of enjoyable mugs. It's good to see our logo all over the place, and we're doing a thing right now where we're sponsoring the Race of the 8 Wins by giving out Race of the 8 Win shirts. So that's exciting. And you can find all about that at civisechoerstation.threadless.com. Or speaking with our subscribe.
Speaking of our subscribe, you can just mosey on over to whatever your echoer you're listening to right now. And you can speak to that cute little person in that cute little hat. And they will keep you up to date on everything echoer. Whether we've got a new broadcasting going to be going live shortly, or if we've done anything interesting lately worthy of note. You can also go over to that little comment pad next to the subscribe, and you can leave us a comment or draw a cute little picture for us, a little heart, a little thumbs up, anything that shows your appreciation always makes us feel, appreciated.
You can also take the time to ring the bell on that table. You just ring that little bell, and you'll get more notifications than you know what to do with.
It's true. Another way you can participate in our little fun times here is you can go to our message boards at civisechoerstation.com. The com is for community, and you can keep up to date with us there. Or if you wanted to send in an Luffy's Ask, while there's many ways to do it, including that comment pad or our Discord bar, which I'll tell you about in a second, you can always send us an email at housecivisechoerstation@gmail.com.
And as Alufi said, we do have a Discord bar, which is a private community of fans of the Echoers that come together with House Galanda in a private bar, and we all sit and we talk and we discuss things, and it's really nice. I feel safe there, and it's not troubling at all. They don't seem like a bunch of overly obsessed fans constantly stalking me.
The way you said that makes it feel like that is...
But I said it's not. They're not constantly suggesting things that are ridiculous and over the top. See?
No, but the way you said that made it feel like the opposite of what you said. Kind of like sarcasm, but more malicious.
Is it because of the tone of my voice? Because I'm saying it very, very, very calmly that they are wonderful people. I absolutely love all of them. And they have never flooded me with tons of messages and made me feel really uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think it's the tone of your voice.
But I'm doing a nice tone.
No, I don't think I don't think it's coming off the way you think it is.
Well, how do I tell everyone in that group that I love them and I appreciate them?
Hey, Silas, what about those wonderful patrons that we've got over with House Counteract?
They also come to the Discord bar, and they are not rude at all. They're very nice. Mm-hmm. I don't have a private conversation going with a bunch of them in a private Patreon chat where they all suggest silly things. None of that's true at all. They're just nice people. And of course, we do have our Patreon program with House Counteract, where you can send in a few coins each month to keep the Echoers on the airpath.
Well, now that we've got that out of the way, Silas, I think we've got a little bit of news.
We do indeed, but why not change it up today? Why not go crazy and do your Luffy's Advice Corner first? Because most of the time, we don't have the time to go on long-winded tangents because we're going to cut into the guest, but now we can cut into the news a bit, yeah? You can go on as long-winded tangents as you possibly could ever want.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Dear Miss Alufi Haskell de Civis. They wrote the whole thing out. That's just why not just Dear Luffy? It seems weird.
Let's just read the question.
I, a Shar native with ancestors mostly from Breland and the Marches, am a friend with a dwarf who, while from Sharn themselves, has parents from the Moorholds. While me and my friend already have a fair share of similarities, I have trouble relating when they discuss their home and the part of their culture, food, religion, superstition, etc., that come from the Mror. Do you think it would be helpful to seek out information about Mror culture to lessen confusion in the future? Or am I overthinking the entire situation? Thank you in advance, Torin Riverborn.
Well, Torin, I think that wanting to know more about your friend's culture is very admirable. Particularly in cases like this where they may not be first generation immigrants here into the city and, their parents may have lived here for a long time, but they still retain that Mroran culture. Whether it's just asking your friend outright about certain aspects of their culture, why they eat certain things, why there's certain superstitions, or perhaps just going to a library and reading about them, I'd be careful about that last one. With the last war, a lot of propaganda did create a lot of issues when it came to looking into the culture of different places, particularly places like the Mror, which was held by Karnath during the war. But I think that it's admirable to want to learn more about your friend's culture, especially if it means that you get to communicate with them better and understand why they do some of the things that they do. Because, in the end, that's very important for them. It's something that really matters to them. It's how they grew up. Now, something to be careful of is to not overstep your bounds, though. You don't want to start participating in things that maybe aren't meant for you, which is why I recommend talking to your friend and having that open discussion about it with them as opposed to just jumping in on your own.
That is a smart move. Use it as a chance to exchange cultures instead of just saying, I want to learn about yours. Share your culture as well. I'm sure being from the Marches, there's a lot of things that are different that people don't realize. We've not covered the Marches on this show much at all. I'm personally not very well versed on them. They're on the other side of Drome, and I think it's very difficult to think of them. And I think that a lot of that gets lost because of fear and propaganda as well. It would be good for us to learn a little bit about the Marches, so I think we should do that sometime soon.
I agree.
Well, let's jump on to the next Alufi's Ask. Dear Miss Alufi, I'm part of a secret society that helps creatures that are sometimes questioned in existence. Oh, this might be a good one. The problem with being a secret is that we are often short on funding and things like celebrity endorsements. Oh, okay, I see where this is going. How do we protect our creatures but keep the lights on? Sincerely, Safe the Ware Pigeons. Okay, alright, ha 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 ha. P.S. Don't stop believing. Yeah, you know what? This whole thing is, I'm not gonna take it because this is dumb.
Tell me where I need to go. Listen, were pigeons are real. They're in the city. They're amazing, beautiful creatures, and they need to be protected and come to light and all of these things. And listen, everybody, just do some research about it. It's out there. The research is there. You just gotta look for it. You just really just gotta look for it. Don't be like Sylas, a big old butthead naysayer. Just do it. That's all.
They ask about funding and celebrity endorsements, and you're just going to go right in on it.
I endorse.
Yeah, no, don't do that, because this is how you get caught up in a cult or some sort of organization you don't want to be a part of.
Oh, like you and House Sylas. What's the next one, Sylas?
Dear Alufi, good day to you and your co-host Sylas. My name is Nelvik Lundror, and I have worked as a janitor for almost 72 years in the Kundarak Bank of Sharn. Recently, I noticed some rowdies scrawling strange symbols all over the back alley walls of the bank. I've even seen a small figure fleeing the scene 2 weeks ago, but the Sharn Watch couldn't find any clues. As for the symbols, I've tried prestidigitation and products like Captain Sparkle's all-in-one cleaner, but nothing seems to work. I'm old and not up to date with the youngin's new magic tricks to pull pranks. Do you have any suggestions on how I can get rid of those terrible eyes? Only the dearest wishes, Nelvik Lundror.
Have you tried just painting over them? I know that sometimes it's just kind of impossible to wash some paints and things off, so maybe painting over them would work? Well, you said that the magic you used hasn't really worked. There might be a new form of prestidigitation that would help clean that right up. Well, if it's an arcane mark, there's really no way to get rid of it if... This is a tough one. Sylas, do you have any ideas?
Well, if it's an arcane mark or something like that, you're going to have to paint over top of it. Destroying the mark is probably your best option at that point in time. If it's not working try using prestidigitation on it to change it the color to match the building.
Oh, that's a good idea, too.
But you can only do that for so long. Just see if that works. Perhaps it will, perhaps it won't. I don't know of anything other than that. Other than to put like a mark over top of it and make like a smiley face out of it.
You know what my mom would always do if something just wasn't coming out of like when she was doing her washing, she would she'd just pour like really hard alcohol on it. And then if that didn't work, she'd use acetone. And then if that didn't work, she'd use turpentine.
I'd also say maybe trying acid on the brick itself, just in one section, to see if once you break the eye in apart, if it removes the whole eye, and is then doable.
Yeah. That might be an interesting way to look at it, too.
Like a sigil, because generally with sigils, if you break part of it, you can usually get rid of the whole thing.
Yeah. I think it was responsible for you to report them to the Sharn Watch, but I also think that, the Sharn Watch is the greatest watch institution we've had in this city, and they are very good at their jobs.
Also, see if you can't get House Kundarak to sponsor another guard through there. Keep an eye on that alley, just to make sure that nothing nefarious is going on. Sometimes what seems like an eye can be, a way to get through a wall.
Exactly.
Now let's go ahead and just jump over into the news. We'll see how much of that we can get done before we have to do our interview. City Watch are currently investigating as a homicide the burned-out shell of a carriage found at dawn on Zur, on Northern Razzle Street in the Granite Halls district. Watch Sergeant Garrick Durham said 4 bodies, 3 adult male humans and 1 female shifter, were seated in the carriage. Traces were attached to the carriage, but no horses were present, he said. The carriage itself was badly charred but cool to the touch. The flames didn't appear to spread to any nearby buildings. Durham said, "I find it a little hard to believe that even in the wee hours of the morning, no one saw a carriage on fire in the middle of the street. Shops along Razzle Street, mostly antique dealers, were shuttered, and the street gets little traffic at night, though. The Black and Book branch of Sharn Watch is trying to ascertain the identity of the passengers in the carriage, and is looking for any eyewitnesses who may have been in the area and seen the fire, but have yet to come forward. So if you have any information regarding this, please speak with the City Watch on patrol in Granite Hills, or speak to a sergeant on duty at any of the Watch's garrisons."
What if it was burned somewhere else and it was brought there?
So now we have a burned up carriage that was moved. The guard would know.
Do you think?
Yeah, if you moved a carriage, it's going to leave a trail.
Oh, you're right, with the little ashes and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's weird that people were riding in a carriage in Sharn. Like, just get a sky coach, right?
I mean, sometimes you just want a carriage. It's nice to be on the ground. Some people don't like the air, I will say.
Yeah, but then you kind of have to stay, like, on the same level. You can't really go up or down.
Sure, you can. You can take a carriage higher or lower. It takes a while, but you can do that.
Yeah, it takes forever.
I think you have a very different perspective because you've been in Sharn so long. It could be a visiting dignitary. Maybe they were just here for a meeting and headed on their way out.
4 male humans?
3 male, 1 female shifter.
1 female shifter. That feels weird.
Why? That's an adventuring party. You're fond of adventurers. You should know that the leading adventurer is a male human. That is always the way. If you step into any tavern and you throw a stone, you're going to hit a male human 9 out of 10 times.
I mean, I guess you're right. I feel like lately we've been seeing a lot of newer adventuring parties with a lot more diversity.
It is nice to see that, but yes, I think historically that is how they have tried to make it seem by occupying as much space as possible. They would just shuffle in and fill up the space and then not have space for other people and just be like, look, it's all male human adventurers. That's just how it is. That's what it's supposed to be. That's how it's always, it's.
Yeah.
And then you look back and you're like, no, that's not how it was at all.
No. Lots of people, are elves and Korvar, half-orcs, regular orcs.
Female, non-binary. There's 1,000 options. Changelings.
Exactly.
Adventuring isn't what it used to be, and I'm excited for that.
I agree. I'm still really confused about this whole case, though. It's a weird one.
You're not supposed to figure it out from a news article.
It's fun to think about, though.
You're one of those type of... I can't stand the people who read a news article and then go, I'm gonna solve this case.
You know what? I think it's time for our musical break. And when we get back, we will be talking with Bishop Sarhain about Silvertide.
Success. A short word that means everything to your future. A word that means everything to us. Here at Moorgrave University, we set you up for success. We have classes for all of the most in-demand fields of study, from applied elementistics to giant rune forging. We have on-site room and board, as well as the most advanced binding facilities in Breland. Moorgrave University is now accepting applications from peoples of all backgrounds and nationalities. So take a step and set yourself up for success today.
There are a lot of things to do each and every day. The constant overwhelming push to do more and be more is enough to make anyone want an expeditious retreat. Wouldn't it be nice if someone finally gave you the thing that matters most? Your precious time. And that is why we at House Cannith are introducing the Cannith Cuisine line. We want to cut your time in the kitchen down dramatically. We have a line of improved wands to help every step of the way. Mixing wands, spraying wands, cleaning wands. And we didn't stop there. We added all manner of equipment to help you, from our Everright measuring cups and spill-proof bowls, to our Cannith quick cooking cabinets featuring our chilling, cooking, and seasoning drawers. We have the exact ingredients to make your home complete. So make your life easier, and stop by an authorized House Cannith vendor today. And remember, nothing cooks quite like a Cannith.
Today is going to be a very interesting day because we're going to learn a lot more about a holiday that I know very little about.
It's true. I mean, from what I know, all of the Flamists just kind of go to church and pray a bunch.
That's all of the holidays.
It's true.
I looked it up in a book one time and it said all of the Silver Flame holidays were just them going and praying.
Yeah.
Someone needs to expand on that.
I agree. I definitely agree. So today we have the wonderful magnetic Bishop Chantalyn Sarhain with us.
I feel like you've summoned in Chantalyn because we were just talking about you the other day and how we'd like to have you back, and now here you are again.
And it's just like, you guys like me. I like you guys too, you know. And
You seem approachable. I think that's the difference, is that a lot of the time members of the Silver Flame are not very approachable.
So part of like the creed of the Silver Flame is that we're supposed to like be really open and like welcoming and like sharing, but you'd be surprised just how like xenophobic a lot of the members, especially higher ups, like you rarely ever see any Koravar. You rarely ever see any orcs, despite like, you know, like the Gashkala, they also follow the shiny silver flame, but it's different, you know, but like you only see like humans, and it's really xenophobic and an issue, you know. There's some elves, but not really, you know, it's an issue.
I'm glad that we have you reaching out and talking to people and making a difference. Because while I may not agree with every tenement of the Silver Flame, it feels nice to know that I have you here today and we can learn a little more.
Of course. So today we're talking about Silvertide. So, Bishop, tell us, what exactly is Silvertide all about? As like any historical people will know, a bunch of years ago, there used to be like all of these icky demons and like icky overlords and like icky bad things like everywhere. I think they call it like the dark age, no, the age of demons.
It's the age of demons, yes.
Yeah. So then all these kick-ass coatls. Oh, am I allowed to say ass?
It hasn't stopped you before.
Okay. All of these kick-ass coatls that are like made from like Sybaris's light and stuff kind of came down and were like, hey, stop it. And they totally like heckin' sacrificed themselves to turn into the shiny silver flame. And they essentially like took all of these really big, powerful, meanie guys and put them in like silver prisons inside themselves. And so like the coatls became like shiny silver flame. And then inside of them, eternally burning, are like these super evil things, just kind of like trapped there. So every year we have this celebration. Well, it's not like always a celebration because like some people don't really do it as a celebration, but we like appreciate the coatls for totally like heckin' ruining their lives and like sacrificing themselves for us.
And how is that different from the Ascension, where you honor Tiramiran's sacrifice?
I mean, so it's different because Tiramiran did do a sacrifice as well, but like in a different way. So like
she's not like a coatl, because coatls are forever, but like Tiramirin was not forever, you know, like she didn't like, you know, she's like you and me. Okay. And so we're honoring her like ultimate sacrifice. Whereas like for the coatls, like they're still living, you know, they're just like silver flame now.
Well, what I meant was, how does that look different in the celebrations?
Like different prayers.
Oh, wow. Exciting.
Yeah. It's really not the best, I will admit. Because just like a lot of our holidays are, you know, sit at home or sit in temple and pray and pray and pray. Didn't you say that, during Kyberseth, you, in your town of Sayar, did something a little different,
With the lights in the sky.
with the big flashy lights. Are there any other towns that maybe do that kind of thing? Oh my gosh, yeah. So like there's this town in northern Thrane called Oxelgrad. It's actually like a fort, but then like people like started living around the fort and then it became like a town. So they do something like super fun for Silvertide and super different. And I'm really trying to help push them to get the rest of like the people in Thrane and as part of the Silver Flame to really adopt this, because I agree. I think that a lot of our traditions need to be changed with the times. And a lot of young folk, you know, like the new generation, are really liking this one.
Well, that makes sense. A lot of people after the war, you've got so much history of Thrane tied to other nations attacking and the war directly, and then I guess before that it would be
the Purge.
Yeah, that's the Silver Crusade. Man, that's
it's a lot.
So it's interesting to see new generations taking up and doing something different.
Yeah, and I think that's really important.
So how is it different?
Okay, so first things first. In preparation for Silvertide, everybody makes or buys just like pure white clothing. Head to toe, you dress in white. On the morning of Silvertide, you go down to your temple and you get these little pouches of like different colored like pigments, like little like dyes, but it's like powdery. And some of the like more popular people in towns, like the mayor, one of the bishops, you know, like the guy who won the biggest gourd contest last year, you know, like those kind of people, will dress up like demons or overlords or whatever. And they'll go through the town, and then you take your powder and you have to like pelt them with it, and everybody gets powder all over them. Your clothes go from white to like hella colorful, which is like really cool. And then right before dinner, because there's a big old feast that everybody eats at, you go to temple and you do all of your praying. Normally, like, it's praying from morning until night with a little bit of fasting, but not this time. Now, you're going to pray, and then at the end of prayers, some super special magic prayers are said, and all of those pretty colors turn to silver to kind of show like the rainbow of the coatls becoming the silver flame. And it's like super cool and amazing. Like it just like to watch, cause like, so I went a few years ago and I was wearing like just like this super cute little dress, and I had like purple over here and blue over there, some orange, and it's just like all colorful. But then like, you see what I'm wearing right now?
Well, it just looks silver.
Yeah. It's the same dress.
Well, that is interesting, and it just turns it silver like that, and I think that is a great way to honor them. It seems a little less reverent than I'm sure most people would agree with, but it's different. It still honors their legacy and still adopts the beliefs there of their sacrifice and becoming part of the flame. I think that is a neat way to look at things, and I can't imagine a better way to celebrate. I'm glad to see people are thinking outside the box. I
agree. I think that that's really interesting and just definitely out of the box. I mean, I'm not a member of the Silver Flame, but I'd love to participate. Like, that just sounds...
Or to even watch.
Exactly. That would be like fun a lot of fun. Yeah. So, are they going to be doing it again this year? Oh, yeah. They're doing it again this year. And like I said, I'm really trying to get more towns and more like parishes and temples into doing this. So it's great that I'm here with you guys to kind of spread the word, because this is so much fun, and it's really just showing like the sacrifice and being reverent of that, as opposed to just like spending all day on your knees in prayer. Oh, Bishop, I meant to ask. This is entirely off topic. I'm sorry. Sylas and I were out of town when you came in for Kevin Capona's little late show. But how's the thing with your armor going?
Yeah, how's that going?
So it's told like it can't be Templar armor, which, whatever. It's cute. But I was told that it's totally okay if I like sell some on the side. So, it's available. You can buy it and you can have like a lot of fun with it, like just like be super sexy while you're fighting evil.
Well, I can't imagine why they thought that was a bad idea, having that in the temple, but I'm glad that you still get to do what you wanted to do. With Silvertide being tomorrow, did you plan on staying, or are you going to head back to Syar?
I'm going home to help lead the festivities there, just to make sure that, things are going nicely. I am the bishop of my town, so I do need to be there.
Are you adopting the pigments in your own town?
Yeah, we are. It's the first year that we're doing it, so it's been really nice being here. But, I have to dish out, a hell of a lot of money to House Orient to make sure that I'm home in time to really help with the preparations.
I understand. I've done that a couple of times, and it is always a little rough. But at least you'll make it home in time and get to celebrate. Are you dressing up as one of the overlords?
Me? Oh my god. Yeah, so I'm going to be dressed as this guy named, Rock Toolcash. And basically it's just, a lot of, war and meanie and angry and, bad stuff. And I really can't wait. I've got this, super big, mask that I'm gonna wear. And it's just basically, a big ol' angry face.
What is the rest of the costume composed of?
It's got these, big, shoulders and, big ol' arms. And I'm just gonna be, rocking around. It's really, red colored. And, red and black. And I'm really excited for my parish to really show off, their archery skills and, their aim. Because I expect to be covered head to toe in pigment. And if I'm not, I will be very disappointed in them.
Well, I, for one, am disappointed we won't be able to make it tomorrow because we've got an interview with one of the jockeys, but I hope that you have an absolutely lovely time.
Oh my gosh, thanks. I wish you could be there too. I think that it would be a lot of fun, but maybe next year.
You know what? We'll pencil it in. That'll be good to do. Hopefully next year we won't have as much trouble doing this whole Race of the 8 Winds thing. It has been nonstop.
It really has been. Well, thank you, Bishop Chantalyn Sarhain, for coming in and talking about these new festivities and Silvertide in general. It's been really nice. Thanks so much for having me. It's been really fun, and that I always love coming in and seeing you guys. It's just really amazing, and I just really love you.
Yes, thank you, Bishop, and everyone out there have a lovely day.
And remember, everybody, to keep an ear out for those echoes and color packets of hope.